Hey all, Uranium here. I think it's time to tackle the elephant in the room. How am I going to provide enough power for the mega factory? I haven't actually calculated exactly how much I need, but it is definitely more than I currently produce. I'm thinking it would probably be enough to build a modest 100 reactor plant. But I like setting myself some bigger goals, and in Satisfactory that's a maxed nuclear power plant, which with the current uranium nodes means 252 reactors. This episode will be all about collecting the resources for such a plant. I'm gonna discuss the production details in another video, but here's the full list of basic ingredients I need for this project. This is definitely going to be the most resource intensive factory I've built in the game so far. I'll practically need a lot of everything. Since the uranium nodes are spread across the map, but mostly on the east to west central line, it makes sense to build a train that gathers the uranium from the 3 central spots and then brings it to the nuclear plant. The uranium train stations can be used to drop off other resources from nearby as well. As for the factory itself, it needs to be built on water due to the massive water needs. For your information, the almost 88,000 cubic meters of water that is needed means 733 water extractors if I don't overclock them. Aligning those is going to be so much fun. The big water areas are east of Swamp, Spire Coast, north of Rocky Desert and the islands east of the grass fields. For me the only free spot is the island area, as the swamp contains my copper factories and Rocky Desert is the place for my mega factory. So, I'm gonna build a long train from the waterfall by the swamp to the beach area west of the grass fields and stop by on each of the uranium nodes on the way. I'll need to figure out what to do with the 4th node in the Rocky Desert later. First I'm going to tap the uranium node by the waterfall. This was easier than I thought as the spider protecting it was feeling suspiciously peaceful. I'm not going to transport the uranium to the nuclear plant site yet, as I don't want any radiation issues while building the plant, so I'll just place the miner and continue building the train station. After that I'm just building a long railway heading west and climbing up as needed. I'm using the same minimalistic style for the pillars holding the railway as I did for my mega factory train. Pretty soon we are at the spot for the first intermediate station of the cave leading to the 2nd uranium node. This is a node that I'm already using for my current nuclear plant, so I'll just overclock the miner and replace the Mark III bells with Mark V. And off we go building more train tracks. The red bamboo fields and the red jungle look so pretty, and up here above the trees you don't need to worry about the nasty creatures in this part of the map either. Once we are about the 3rd uranium site, it's time to place and overclock the miner as usual. I'm so glad I'm doing this on hoverback. I've never seen so many elite spiders in one spot before in this game. And after that I'm just building the railway down the coast where the nuclear plant will be. Oh, and apparently the game ran out of names for train stations, guess I'll just call this Helsinki then. And now we can test the train. There seems to be a problem. One of the train stations is facing the wrong way apparently. But once that is fixed, everything looks fine. So, with the train connection done, now it's time to bring resources to those train stations. First off, I'm going to handle quartz. I need 2603 total, which means 2 normal and 2 pure nodes is enough. The pure nodes are close to the Red Forest train stations, so I'll just bring them there. The normal nodes that I'm tapping are close to my current nuclear plant, so I'll bring them to the Uranium Cave train station. So far so good. Let's tackle sulfur next. I need 3023 sulfur per minute, which is slightly above 5 normal nodes. 4 normal node and 1 pure will do. This is unfortunately quite spread out on the map, so some belt work is needed. First I'm going to get a normal node north of Swamp, as well as a pure node northeast of Swamp, and bring them to the Swamp train station. Don't ask me why I didn't choose to take a closer normal node near the train station, because I was just blind when I looked at the map. Then I'm gathering 2 normal nodes in the northern forest and bringing them to the red forest station. Finally I'll get a normal node from the snake tree forest south of the red forest and bring it to the same station. And next I'll gather copper. I need a total of 3285 of this, which is annoyingly a bit more than 4 normal and 1 pure provide, which is 3120. I would need to get 3 pure and 2 normal to get this with 5 nodes, if I only overclock at 50%. And there's really only 1 pure node left near the train track or the nuclear plant, as my copper factory is using up the pure nodes in the swamp. So I'll just gather 4 normal nodes from the grass fields and bring them to the red forest station. The other nodes I'll gather near the nuclear plant site. After that I'll get some Caterium. The goal is 2616, which can be achieved with 3 pure nodes and 1 normal. Even 2 pure and 2 normal would do, but there just happens to be 3 pure near the nuclear plant, so I might as well use those. The normal node I tap from near the current nuclear plant and bring to the nuclear cave train station. And next up is coal. This I'm getting from a very classic spot, the lake near the grass fields. This is a great spot for a starter coal generator setup when starting in the grass fields. Guess I'm happy I started in northern forest and never went here before. I'll just place the miners here and bring the coal to red forest train station in a nice stack of conveyor belts. And the final item for the train transportation, nitrogen gas. I'll need 3600 cubic meters of this, and the site near the nuclear plant provides 2100. Thus I need 1500 more from somewhere. I've chosen to get it from south of swamp, the Abyss Cliffs. 4 pure nodes and 2 normal nodes provide exactly what I need. I'm transporting this in package form because it's much more efficient. So I'm building some packages here and then bring both outgoing belt for the finished package gas and incoming belt for the empty tanks to the swamp train station. And that's all the resources gathered that I'm planning to bring by train. I'm still missing a lot of stuff, but those I can find near the nuclear plant site, so I'll just bring them there with belts later. And now's the time to plan the train properly. My test revealed that the train takes around 6 minutes for a round trip. This is unfortunately going to be a problem as a single freight car can transport 32 stacks and the ore stack at 100. This means that if I produce more than 3200 in 6 minutes, which is 533 per minute, I need more than 1 car per miner. And I do produce more than that, 600 per minute from the normal nodes and 720 per minute from the pure nodes. So I need to increase capacity. There's a few ways to do that. The most simple way is to add more cars to the train. In my case it means that instead of 23 cars, which is 21 for the ores, 2 for the gas and the empty tanks, I would need 44 cars, 42 for the ores and 2 for the gas stuff. That is if I just duplicate each car. Here I was thinking, how hard can that possibly be? Pretty long at least, it would seem. I wanted to add also a loop after the track so I wouldn't need locomotives on both ends. Turns out that the train station by the swamp becomes almost as long as the swamp itself if I do this. For some reason I'm not really fond of how this looks. At the nuclear plant site, the train station takes pretty much the whole length of the beach. This does work when I tested it. I even found out that you don't need to build the end loop so long if you don't mind clipping, as the train apparently can't collide with itself. But seriously, I can't stand how this almost a kilometer long train station looks like, so I'm just gonna go with the plan B. And the plan B is to build a parallel track next to the existing one and have 2 trains run simultaneously. This means each of them only needs 23 cars. I'm also going to ditch the end loops and just build trains that have locomotives on both ends. For a long train you should have more than 1 locomotive to give enough power, especially when going up hills. I'm going to build my trains with 3 locomotives on each end. So, time to build more train tracks, yay! Okay, this looks so much better. The swamp train station went from overshadowing the whole of swamp to barely going over the waterfall. This was achieved also by planning the train so that the items that need to be loaded at the swamp are in the correct end of the train. And now is the time to test the new solar train. The single train seems to understand it needs to take the left route to reach the next station, which is good. So time to add the second train. To avoid collisions we need to add signals. I'm just dividing the track to 4 blocks by placing a block signal before each train station. The block signals make sure that only one train can be at the created blocks at any time, so no collisions will occur. So time to test this with 2 trains. The second train seems to wait until the first train reaches the second station and then move to the nuclear plant station. Seems that this is actually working. First try. With the train operational and train stations ready, now's the time to bring the resources to the stations. You have maybe noticed that I've added storage containers as buffers before each freight platform. The reason for this is that loading items to the actual platform stops while the train is at the station. This could cause bottlenecks, but the industrial containers can store items that flow in or out of the station while the train is being loaded, and each of them is connected to the platform with 2 Mark V belts, which makes sure that they are unloaded to the freight platforms pretty fast. Finally, I added sinks at the nuclear plant station so that the resources keep flowing and I can see that the trains are working as intended. Now the big remaining question is, how do we transport the last uranium that is located pretty far from all the train stations in the rocky desert? I'm thinking about drones here. They are ideal for transporting small amounts of materials long ways without building huge infrastructure. But first things first, let's get to the node and place a miner to begin with. It's all the way up there. So here we are. I probably should have remembered to bring my hazmat suit, this kinda hurts without it. Here's one overclocked miner and a drone port anyway. Back at the nuclear plant site, I'm really eager to find out how the drone is performing. While it's fast and easy to set up, it has one big drawback. It can only carry 9 stacks, an ore stack at 100, so even though this is just an impure node, if the trip takes more than 3 minutes, one drone is not gonna be enough. It does not look very promising as it says it takes 3 minutes and 23 seconds, but let's do a test run anyway. Yeah, so hazmat suit would indeed be nice for these tests as well. Anyway, the test reveals a problem. The transfer rate is just 207 items per minute. I can confirm this up at the node as well. The miner is idle while the drone port waits for the drone to arrive. This means that we'll need another drone. I'm just building another drone port and a drone and directing them both to the same drone port at the uranium node. This should work as the drone port keeps loading while the drone is docking. It's enough if each drone transports 150 items per minute, which they seem to do. So the problem with the last uranium node is solved. I'll probably have these drone ports somewhere else, but I'll figure that out later when I know how the plant will look like. But that's not all. I still need some more materials from near the nuclear plant. To begin with, we need some oil, 365 of it to be exact. One overclocked pure node provides more than enough. We also need some more nitrogen gas, for which I'm building a packager setup and 2 belts, similarly as with the one near the swamp. Next I'll get the limestone. I need 2760 of this per minute. This can be achieved with 4 pure nodes that I'm tapping in the grass fields. And then comes the bauxite. I need 720 of it, which is very lucky as that's exactly what a 50% overclocked pure node provides. I am less lucky with the protectors of this node though. Seriously, 4 alpha speeders protecting one node, that's got to be a record. Oh well, time to try to pull them so that at least not all attack me at once. So that's at least one down, time to heal. Okay, this guy seems to have brought a friend. But the friends seem to get stuck. Well, time to get the last one. Here we go. With that massacre done, we are now producing the bauxite we need for the plant and just need to bring it to the nuclear plant site. When it comes to iron, I need 1155 of it. This means 2 normal would be enough, however there are 2 pure nodes near the side, so I might as well tap those instead. I'm bringing these with belts where I also brought limestone earlier. I also need 1 more normal and 1 more pure copper from near the site as well as near the lake where we picked up coal from before. I could maybe bring the copper near the lake to the Red Forest station too, but I think I'll just draw a belt to the nuclear plant site instead as the train is already finished. this point the game started sending me signals that I may have played too long, as I got this interesting graphical glitch. I did need to actually increase the object limit in the game while filming this video as well. I suspect these glitches could be caused by that. I sure hope the game still stays playable, at least until I finish the Mega Factory. Anyway, only one more resource left, Deuterium. I need to tap 3 pure nodes near the nuclear plant site, and after that we are ready. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff you need for a max nuclear plant. I can imagine building the actual thing is an even bigger project, but that's something I'm going to start in the next episode of this series. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when new episodes in the Mega Factory series are posted. I'm also taking suggestions on topics to tackle in the Tips and Tricks series. Feel free to post your ideas in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.